तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्.
This is a brilliant verse. The conclusion that he draws over the last 3 verses, he says, Tasmat, therefore, this topic ends here. Sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, every single moment of your life. What must you do? Mam anusmara yudhyacha. Remember me and fight. Now, don't take this literally. He's not talking about remembering Krishna and fight. He says remembering the spirit, Atman. Every one of us is composed of 2 distinct entities, matter and spirit. All our problems arise from the fact that we have wrongly identified with the matter and are completely disconnected with the spirit, which you need to correct. So all that you need to do is, how have you got entangled in the matter? Because of constant thinking of matter. Constantly our thoughts are going to us. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, and therefore we've got into this mess. How do you extricate yourself from this? Is the method that he's giving here. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. It's the consistency that matters. So worship is not to be done once a week, visit to a temple. Not once a day, puja in your home, and that too, people don't do it now. Hurriedly you light a lamp saying, oh, I'm late for work. So what are you thinking of when you're lighting the lamp? Work. That's no use. You might as well not do it. So what he's saying is, he says he understands that all of us have obligations to perform, all of us have desires to fulfill, all of us have various activities that we've got entangled in the world. It is not feasible at this point to pull yourself out of there physically. And even if you do it, it's not helpful. What is important is, see, the law says, as you think, so you become, not as you act. So the clue here is, you can do what you like. Perform whatever action that your swadharma is. It doesn't matter. What matters is, where is your thought? So, mam anusmara yudhya means act dynamically. Act wholeheartedly. Act with your heart and soul. Whatever it is that you do, you should do with your heart and soul. If your heart is not in it, don't do it, because it doesn't help anyone. But whatever you do, remember me, that's the clue. Remember me means remember the spirit. And when you do that, Mai arpita mano buddhi, with mind and intellect absorbed in me, with mind and intellect surrendered to me. So what is to be surrendered? Not the body, the mind and intellect. He specifies it. The body must act. It has to act. And in what field will it act? According to your swadharma, according to your vasanas, you have to act. So if you're a carpenter, you must do carpentry. If you're a magician, you must perform magic shows. If you're, what else? Doctor, you must practice medicine. If you're an engineer, you must do whatever you need to do. But whatever it is that you do, remember the higher. Now, if you're not able to identify with Atman, with God, with the spirit, think of something beyond your selfish, self-centered interests. This is Karma Yoga. So, remember and act is the first step. And then when your system gets divested of desires, you become meditative by nature, and then what must you do? You must just sit and remember. That's meditation. So what is the difference between Karma Yoga and meditation? The commonality is remembering me. The difference is, at a lower stage in Karma Yoga, you are engaging your organs of action. In the latter stages, when you become contemplative and meditative, you are engaging your organs of perception. But the common factor is, remember me. Then what will happen? You will doubtless come to me alone. Spirituality is communicated by three distinct methods. Krishna uses all three. One is going back to the ancient sages and said, thus the ancient sages have said it and therefore I am telling you. So you accept it because a great personality had said it. The second is clear, distinct, precise logic and reason given, which is throughout the Gita. The third is an emphatic assertion of truth, assertion. And this is what he uses here. He says, you will doubtless come to me. There is no doubt about it. So, true worship is that which permeates every thought in the intellect, every feeling in the mind, every perception, every action. So therefore there is this prayer. Kayena vacha manasendrerva buddhatnyamavat prakriti svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayana iti samarpayami. So whatever you do with the body, whatever you speak, whatever emotions you feel in the mind, whatever be your contact with the indriyas, the sense organs, if that continues, but you are able to offer all of that to Narayana, then you are performing worship, not random acts of worship. Most of the time, we engage in worship out of a sense of guilt. When you've performed wrong action, then you want to go running to Tirupati. When you performed wrong action, when you violated your own conscience, you want to go to Siddhivinayak. Or when you've met with some tragic circumstance, then you think of God. But under normal circumstances, nobody thinks of God. And these random one-off thoughts get drowned in the sea of materialistic thinking, so they're as good as not there. So the key here, the key words here is sarveshu kaleshu, at all times. How do you do that? Exactly like when you're driving a car, you perform so many other activities. You're talking to your neighbor, your co-passenger. You could be speaking on the cell phone, even though it's not allowed. You could be adjusting the air conditioning. You could be doing so many things. But while you're driving, there is one thing that your mind is focused on constantly, and that is road. If your attention goes off the road even for a split second, you've had it. Even if this momentary sneeze and your eyes shut involuntarily, anything can happen. So similarly, you need to drive in the journey of life with one aspect of your mind constantly focused on the higher, on that which enables you to see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel emotions, think thoughts, and then you enjoy every moment of your life. And remember this, enjoyment lies precisely in this. If you're not able to do this, you can't enjoy any experience in life. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. So there are two ways of achieving this sarveshu kaleshu, mam anusmara. How do you remember something always? There are two methods. One is when you love someone, you constantly think of that person. Everything in life becomes a reminder. A toothbrush could remind you of the person. TV channel can remind you of the person. Anything and everything is a constant reminder of that person. That comes when there is love, when there is an emotional connection. So you could follow Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion, to remember, or it could be intellectual focus. When the person has a clear goal, like a cricketer now, especially a cricketer who's playing these matches here, his goal is to perform to the best of his ability. So he whatever he does, wherever he goes, whatever he speaks, one aspect of his attention is constantly anchored in the thought of cricket. could be a musician, it could be a tabla player, it could be whatever it is. When you are dedicated to a particular goal, when your intellect is focused on a goal, the thinking, the anchorage is automatically there. So use either, ideally use both. When you use both, you are able to maintain this focus. Next verse, 8.